My name is Jose Maria Velasco. I have a PhD in veterinary medicine from Saragossa University. I have devoted all of my professional life, about 40 years, to studying and investigating animal brucellosis. The impact of brucellosis on animals is very significant. The disease also seriously affects the livelihood of the farmers because it causes significant losses in the farming sector as a whole. It causes abortions, it causes infertility, and therefore fewer animals are born to restock and ensure herd survival. There is a drop in milk supply, and moreover, there is an important factor, which is that the disease prevents farmers from being able to sell the animals and meet the demands of an ever-growing market. The disease is transmitted to humans through various mechanisms. In the first place, it is an occupational disease, which means that all those professionals who may come into contact with the cattle in one way or another, and that could be the farmer, the vet, the slaughterhouse personnel, or even the butcher, in endemic areas, all of these people are at substantial risk of catching the disease. Vaccination is, without any doubt, the cheapest, the most practical, and the most effective way of controlling the prevalence of the disease in virtually all epidemiological situations, regardless of whatever country we may be talking about. This issue is a very serious problem in Asia, in the Middle East, in the Far East, in China in particular, but also in other countries in the area, such as India, Bangladesh, or Pakistan. And then there's Africa, where there are recurring outbreaks and where the problem is really hard to solve. In European countries, we have devoted many years of hard work to solving this problem. One has to always bear in mind this time frame, because there is this widespread misconception that implementing an eradication program is a viable short-term or mid-term solution, and that is just not true. The main problem is the lack of professional training in different veterinary services. In my opinion, training is a crucial step in controlling the disease, with views to eradicating it. In Latin America, apart from the problem of lack of organization or flaws in the organization of veterinary services, there is another very important problem, a problem of paramount importance, and that is that in most cases it is the farmers themselves and not the government or the administration that have to foot the bill of the costs of control and eradication. I would say that in many countries, brucellosis, for all of the reasons I have mentioned before, is being overlooked, disregarded, or as they say in English, neglected. More often than not, the disease is not diagnosed with any degree of accuracy or handled with due attention. In another group of countries, for example, the ones we spoke about before, in Latin American countries, I believe that the challenge is, and I will repeat this insistently, to improve the veterinary services. There has to be a higher degree of professional training in those services, and of course, a higher degree of professional training in the whole sector. This is where the main challenge lies, and the government or administration of these countries has to set up and fund control programs. The farmers have to face a very important challenge, which is that the population is continuing to grow all the time. As a result, there will be a rise in animal populations to meet the demands of a market in which not only will there be more people, but also a longer life expectancy, and that means that there will be a greater demand for food products of animal origin. For the effective control of the disease in the African continent, there isn't really one single overarching solution, but rather, and if we had to highlight one priority above all others, that would be in general to improve the technical knowledge of the disease, more and better training.